Tobias Harris, Nicolas Batum, Buddy Hield, and Kyle Lowry. Tobias Harris, Nicolas Batum, Buddy Hield, and Kyle Lowry. Some or all of them, especially Tobias Harris, because he's not coming back because he's already in Detroit. Some or all of them, you won't be able to sign back because of Paul George. Because of the 50 plus million over 4 years, 200 plus million for him. You ain't going to be able to sign back those players. That's 4 guys that could have been on your bench. And one of them is a starter that contributed heavily for the team last year. Without Kyle Lowry, the Knicks sweep the Sixers. And his top production off the bench. Without Nicolas Batum, they don't get by Miami Heat in that playing game. Now, Tobias, they can live without Tobias. They can live without him. But Buddy, by himself, in Game 6, almost won the game for them. And they'll have all 4 of those players. Now, Paul can get you on this team. He's a third option. He can get you 20 as a third option, 25 and 5. That's all they're going to need from Paul George. And then defend the wings. Defend multiple positions on the wing. But we all know in the real world, one of those stars are not going to be available. And you know whose name that is. You know Joel Embiid's not going to be available. So they're going to ask him to be a second option in big spots. I'm talking about playoff time. That means 25, 7, and 7. I'm not saying Paul can't do it, but now he's 34. Now you're asking him to do it for 4 years up until his age 38. Because every year, Joel Embiid is going to be a problem with his injury history. And don't act like Paul George didn't have a tough injury history coming into his season with the Philadelphia 76ers. He had a good year last year. He hasn't had great years with the Clippers in terms of his injury history. Because of Joel Embiid, you're going to need him to play 65 to 70 games a year, Paul George. That ain't happening. So, offensively, they're going to be tough to stop. Because you have your wing, you have your point guard, you have your big. Very few teams have bigs in this league, let alone a big, a wing, and a point guard. But that bench, I saw Eric Gordon on that bench. I saw Paul Reed. Paul Reed don't even count. They're trying to hide Paul Reed. So, Kyle Lowry is a lot to miss out on if he doesn't re-sign. Tobias, they not going to miss. Buddy, they going to miss. And Nicolas Batum, they going to miss. So, right now, everybody's talking about championship or top 3 in the East. They're top 4 in the East. They're right there with the Bucks. They're not as good as the Knicks. They're not as good as the Pacers because they're not as deep as the Pacers. And they're not as good as the Celtics. And you know in a big spot, I know y'all talking about a big 3. Joel Embiid's not going to be there in a big spot. So it's the big 2. It's Tyrese and Paul George.